part two because my computer's a little special. Anyway, at least we know where the demons lie. And that's why we'll stay in situations that don't serve us. So, long story longer, how can we discern what our truth is? And one thing that's important to recognize is that it's not just people with split personalities or multiple personalities or schizophrenics. Like, we all are a little bit of all that. So we all have many different voices in our head. And there will be the voices that are very empowering and supportive. And then there will be the ones that cut us down. I mean, when I was more actively anorexic and bulimic, like, man, some of those voices that just told me what a fat ass and lame-o I was, most of us have like some really harsh voices that are just hanging out. So that's just some important work to just start to unhook from them. But this is where meditation's helpful, just to recognize like, oh yeah, that's the crazy voice. Like, I don't actually have to listen to you, but yeah, I do have a personal insane asylum living inside my head. That's just welcome to humanhood. So if you can start to recognize that despite all my crazy, I also have a wise one that lives inside of me, the one who knows. And a way to shortcut into that is to say, because sometimes we can like really start to spin and be like, I don't know what the right thing is, and it feels really horrible, right? Like we're spinning, we're confused, our power's like scattered everywhere. And so, and you've heard me talk about this before, grounding, getting back in your body, finding a way to calm yourself, and then to discover, okay, there's a lot of me that's confused, but there's someone inside of me that knows. And if I knew, then what would my choice be right now? Or if I knew, what would my perception be right now? So that you're starting to create like an access point, a tunnel, a portal, a connection to that part of you who is wise. Because every one of us has a wise one living inside of us. And this is our time to actually respect that wisdom that's inside of us and to find your unique way of connecting there. And then you can have some discernment, like, okay, there's the wise voice. Okay, and then there's that other part of me that's totally freaked out, who may feel really unlovable. And so I might go like, get in some situation because I think they're going to give me love, but it's not healthy. Or, I feel lonely, or I'm terrified, or I just feel like I'm a piece of shit. It's like, so then you can start to see those other parts of you that are hungry and screaming and wailing and like pounding down on the doors. And then you can say, okay, and what do you need? Because what also is helpful is to not just start to shame ourselves and berate and beat and blame ourselves. More like, hey, I'm going to give some love to these parts of me that are having a pretty tough time. I'm going to cuddle them. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to love them up. So this is really essential because especially when we have like situations, whether like, is it healthy for me to be dating this person? Or is this friend healthy for me? Or is this work environment healthy for me? And I'm going to talk a little bit in another video about how we take energy on and confuse and scatter and what clearing really is. But just a really simple thing to consider is we would want to be around people where afterwards we feel full as opposed to drained, inspired as opposed to depleted, clear as opposed to confused. There's a way that we feel like we're seen, that by being with them, it's almost like we were able to come back to ourselves as opposed to give ourselves away or throw on more masks in order to feel safe. We're able to come back to ourselves. Being with this person gives me back to myself. And that there's clarity versus confusion. Now, of course, we have our own things that we do that activates in our system, and that's a separate thing. But in general, like especially your closest friends and the things that really just are a no-brainer, like good medicine. That's a really nice way to assess. Because yes, conflict and challenges will come up always, but there does need to be healthy baselines that do get reflected back to us. So I hope this is helpful. Sending lots of love from Bali on this afternoon, and have a good day.